name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. So this is a video I've been wanting to get to for a long time. I don't want to get through it. I'm quite excited to do it, actually, but I wanted to get to a long time. It's going to be a review of this graphic novel, this Doctor Who graphic novel, Voyager. But it's going to be first of a series. Now, these are reprints from Doctor Who magazine from 80s, 90s, basically for, and they are just fantastic packages. Firstly, the art is everything's. We're going to be looking at it in detail. The art is all cleaned up, and there's wonderful makings of and interviews with the writers and the artists. Absolutely fantastic. Plus, for me, this is absolute prime Doctor Who comics. It's my favorite Doctor Who comics. So the reason I've been dragging my feet about making these videos because I wanted to start with the first one, which is. What's over there? What's it called again? It's the Tom Baker one, the Iron Legion, which was kind of before my time, right? That was kind of before my time. I started reading Doctor Who comics, Doctor Who magazine, Doctor Who comics in magazine, with the story right before the beginning, the beginning of this one, the last Peter Davison one, which is why I'm not starting there. So essentially, I've got to go back and reread them. Well, these things are ingrained in my mind, absolutely ingrained in my mind. And I'm going to start here. I'm just going to move forward. There's another Colin Baker one, which is really good. His last story is written by Grant Morrison, and it's fantastic. It's a really fantastic one with Cybermen and Vought. Grant Morrison, if you don't know, is quite a big name in the comic book writing world. And it will go through Sylvester McCoy, and then hopefully by that time I'll have reread the Eighth Doctor stuff, and then I'll go back and do the first ones. Maybe then I'll go forward and do the Modern Doctor. But again, this stuff is my the prime Doctor Who comic book reading. So I'm really excited to go through it all with you. If this is something you haven't read before, it's something I really, really recommend. Now, listen, I'm biased because I said this hit me in a moment of my life where I was like a sponge. That's basically where I got into comics. I got into 2018. I was going to conventions. In fact, the next video I do, I'll pull out my convention sketches. I got John Ridgway's done a bunch of different sketches for me, and they wouldn't even charge you back then in the 80s. I mean, it was so, they would just go up, they would just do these incredible sketches for you. I got a whole stack of them. Anyway, before we get into it, can you hit the like button? Because I really like this. All my Doctor Who videos, a lot of them is going, oh, everything's terrible, everything's bad. I'm really happy to be talking about Doctor Who that I not just like, that I just adore. And this really Doctor Who was better than the Doctor Who we were getting on the telly at the time. So hit the like button, hit the share button. That'd be great. Thank you very much. And hit the subscribe button. Subscribing is fan-freaking-tastic. As you know, I'm in a pitch battle with YouTube. If you're going to put your money on one of us, I'll put your money on YouTube. Right? It's not even David Goliath. It's like Goliath versus like an invisible gnat on an invisible gnat. But they do not like me getting new subscribers. They haven't noticed for a few days, and they let me get up to 3,065, which is, I think this is the highest it's ever been, but they'll notice. So could you hit the subscribe button? That'd be great. Could you comment? That really helps the algorithm. That makes them go easy on me a little bit. Like, share, subscribe. And of course, check out my Indiegogo, which I've got to update. This week has been a nightmare, okay? I updated my computer, and first couple of days is a max. So first couple of days after you do that, it's like slow and sluggish while it like recalibrates. And and so it's just basically got running now. I use a lot of very high-end software, and I've had to change the methodology of doing things because it's a new operating system now. I think it's worth. But it's eaten up this entire week. It's Wednesday already, right? I start on Sunday. To me is like Monday, so I'm nearly at the end of the week, and it's just working. Anyway, so I wanted to get to it. So go check out my Indiegogo. With that introduction, go check out my Indiegogo. What am I selling? I'm selling 2 freaking awesome comic books. I got biblical Bible stories, Ace of the Craziest Rashness Rogue. I wrote and drew this. It's freaking awesome. Go check it out. 220 pages long, and this is now 105 pages long. Just got the artwork in. Although this is something else I'm behind on. This is great splash page where we got Thunderbird 1 and Thunderbird 2 flying over London, right? Dominic, the artist, who I wrote this, Dominic Ratchet did the art, didn't realise it was 60s, so there's the shard in there. As if I'm like, no, dude, we've got to have a 60s landscape. And I've been meaning to send him pictures, right? I've been meaning to send him pictures to you. And it's just one of the many things I haven't got to. So yeah, I will be updated. Maybe I'll update this today. Although I got a client who's freaking out, he needs some work done. So listen. Sometimes I need to earn money as well. This is also a way of earning money. If you get both books, you get all these great extras. Check out this poster. It's gonna be a poster when we hit $8,000, and we're nearly there. About $300 out. So I think about another 5 backers. And we're there, so we got, look at that, awesome posters. Noble Savages, we got For the Male Gaze cards, which are just freaking awesome, aren't they? I haven't actually showed these out on my stream for a while, but, I just like them a lot. I think they're awfully good. Of course, the Forces Female, that's everybody's favorite. We got all these posters as well. It's a freaking awesome deal. I mean, listen. For an age of Doctor Who, we're doing a video about Doctor Who comics, and I'm like, my heart is broken because Doctor Who comics are over. Look at this artwork. I mean, just look at this. This is like, honestly, I think this is some of the best Doctor Who artwork, comic book artwork, because he's a comic book artist. Since John Ridgway. I mean, he's just so freaking good. There's this one, a bit of poetry action, and this one, which I find quite sweet. I call it Forever Young. Imagine Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor, and Sarah Jane just growing old together in the TARDIS, right? I just like that idea. Another idea I like is Doctor Who comics. So let's have a look at this one. Right, Voyager. The cover, look, it's was it Mike Connors, I think, did the line art on this. The coloring's okay. It's a little bit hurt that it's not as good as the interior art, right? The interior art is John Ridgway, and again, I think this is real prime John Ridgway. John Ridgway knows absolute best. So what we got here? It comes with a number of strips. I know, now it freezes, right? There you go. Comes with another strip. Shapeshifter. So that's going to be, we're going to look at, that's a sequel to the last Fifth Doctor story. Which again, the last one was Voyager, absolute classic. Polly the Glot, absolute classic. Once Upon a Time Lord, Wargame's awesome. We're going to look at all of these. Don't worry. Funhouse, another fantastic one. Then Kane Stories, Able Stories, Warriors Stories, and from again, excellent collection of just awesome Doctor Who comics. So the first one, so you also get this interview with John Ridgway. That was me. I was like, imagine a fatter kid, but basically that was me. Okay, not the one silly droid, but that was it. Look, he would do all these skills, just wonderful, a wonderful time. So the Shapeshifter, this introduces Frobisher, who was going to be a long-running and important companion of the Sixth Doctor. I just ordered, by the way, the new collection, Age of Chaos, which I'm amazed they're bringing out. I'm so excited. I'm amazed that was written by Colin Baker. It was mainly for Marvel. Was it Marvel? It was like a poster mag or something like that. And it was J.W. Burns did the art, but I'm really surprised because they've run out of strips. Although they got all these incredible backup strips they haven't done yet, which I really hope they do a book of. Alan Moore did a series of sort of like 4-dimensional war strips, I think, with David Lloyd, who he did V for Vendetta with. Just great stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, so this introduces Frobisher, who's a shape-shifting private detective, and he's hired from the villain from the last story to find the Doctor, right? The villain from the last story was Dog Bozo, who's a giant frog man. Wonderful art by Steve Dillon. That last episode. I think Mick Austin did the art on the rest of that strip. But it's just absolutely wonderful. Again, just the storytelling here, the line art is just fantastic. I mean, here, can we zoom in? How do we zoom in? This is a new. It's not showing me how to do it. Is that no? What's this? No, that's thumbnails. Fine, I can't work out how to zoom in. But again, it just really sells it. His Colin Baker, quite a bit better than the Colin Baker on TV. But yeah, look at this. Again, he invades the TARDIS and it becomes the central column. So they develop a bit of a relationship over time. There's Dog Bolter at the bottom, the Frogman, who they brought back occasionally because he was just like so incredibly iconic. And so Frobisher ends up becoming the Doctor's companion, and he really works for the Sixth Doctor, like a shape-shifting alien gumshoe who gets stuck in the shape of a penguin. It just kind of really works for the Sixth Doctor. So this story is just incredible. Voyager. It starts off with this incredible monologue of the Doctor caught on this sailing ship. He has this doctor said, "I'm a lord of time," says the doctor, and then the bad guy says, "I think I'm a lord of life." And look at this artwork again, and he goes over the edge of this precipice and wakes up, which is a really nice prelude for this story, which just gets better and better and better. It's they have this villain Astrobolus, who's nearly an equal to the Doctor. Certainly in like he's like an Ersatz Doctor. But the story goes on. It's like this weird quest against this impossible villain who has too much power, has way more power than he should do, with lots of different disparate elements coming together. This does actually feel kind of like the I would say the late McCoy era, and it's just bonkersness, right? In other the eclecticness, and I think they really refined that in the Virgin New Adventure range when you just had like lots of bonkers new eclectics I put together. But yeah, so it's this long story with this insane villain that goes on and on and on and on and on. Which is, again, I make it sound dull, but it's really great. Like, I'm very, very invested. You get very invested in the story. I understand he's doing the artwork on the Cutaway Comics Omega. And so you get this, like, it pulls back to this much, much huger, I would say somewhat epic story. Well, with this just the perfect fall for the Sixth Doctor. But I love this. Frobisher gets stuck in the shape of a penguin, and he puts on a false nose and moustache. I just love that. But this segues into the next story. I think which you don't really know. You think it ends. So then we go into this next story, Polly the Glot, and it's very much the Sixth Doctor in the cosmopolitan Star Trek-esque many different aliens world, which again John Ridgway really nails. This character was in it before. I think in the Tom Baker strips, and it's really just this beautiful story about this guy who loves this beautiful giant alien space whale thing called a glot, right? And how it longs to be free. And they get into an adventure with the Doctor and Frobisher, but then right in the middle, boom! The villain from the last one shows up as the Doctor gets his he hears a name and he gets this post hypnotic fantasy happens, and he sees them falling through. So again, look at the storytelling on this. It's absolutely wonderful. I mean, like you see him falling, and to this planet turns round. It's that same villain again, and so now you get an idea. You've got this much more. This is an entirely different location. It's in a much more vast story, much more epic story than you initially thought. These things are great. These aliens that are like the most boring aliens on the world, in the universe. And they have like a terrible bad robot. So yeah, the what was really moving in here was science fiction fused with English whimsy, which again I think they score pretty well. So this story ends, and Frobisher is kidnapped into the villain's magic magic cabinet. Which, and again, look, it's beautiful art, just absolutely beautiful. The Doctor has to go off chasing him. So Once Upon a Time Lord, another incredible story, wonderful art, wonderful story. Who wrote this? Alan Mackenzie, maybe? So he goes into the realm of like fantasy to chase this guy. And just look how it goes into like this Rupert the Bear pastiche, which, at the time when I was a kid reading, I was like, oh, I want the comics. But now I look at it, I go, oh my God, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, and I don't think there's many other artists who could really nail it. And so the name of the writer on this is Steve Parkhouse, absolutely wonderful. And so yeah, we have this like bizarre fantasy, like it's kind of similar to Mind Robber, right? But just done with much better visuals, right? Much better visuals. And finally, at the end of this week, we get a denouement. We find out how this character has so much power, what's going on from the beginning. And it's a very compelling story. So next story, you have this is Alan Mackenzie. It's a very different film. It's much more harder sci-fi. Much more action adventure. It's clever as well because it starts off the Doctor lands on a planet and then he's immediately captured and sold as a slave. Like, can you? I wish I could work out how to zoom in on you using this software, but like he's being sold on the slave bot. Frobisher in this story gets his morphing ability back now as a giant guy, and so he gets bought by this guy, by a draconian warlord who knows the Doctor. So it turns out that he needs the Doctor's help. That his daughter's been kidnapped by another evil warlord. By the way, if I get one second, if I can zoom in, we do this. This is without a doubt the hottest draconian ever seen. Ever seen in Doctor Who, right? I'm really happy to zoom more into it because it's absolutely fantastic. Let me just zoom back out so we can see the page again. Now, we got the TNA, so let's just go back to the comic. Man, I still got to zoom out more. There you go. Fine, still a little bit. That's good enough. There you go. So again, great story, but again, much more normative sci-fi action adventure. Honestly, just a great little story. And then we got this other one, which is fantastic. So this is very much like, I would say, a cross between Ghostlight and the Doctor's wife. The Doctor finds himself in in this like living entity of a house somewhere out in space, and it invades the TARDIS. And you just have this most bizarre fantasy stuff as the reality bending as a Doctor goes through this house that you realize that he's trapped in, and it becomes part the TARDIS. And there's just a fantastic ending where he works out what he's got to do. And there's time slippage. So I love this page where you see he's running to fix it, and he's running back through his regenerations. Again, John Ridgway being absolutely perfect, right? Absolutely perfect. This is some of the greatest Doctor Who are ever. And I will say perhaps one of the greatest stories. It turns out it's a living entity in the vortex. So the final story is an interesting conjunction of basically the last half of the graphic novel. We meet this character called Kane, and they're introducing these new villains called with battle suits that like take out Daleks and Cybermen. And the Doctor's recruited into this mission to try and save the universe. But I love the way the TARDIS is parked. It's like a bit wonky. Again, this is back in the age where you wouldn't even imagine being able to do stuff like that. So now he goes back and picks up Perry. The decision to bring Perry into the comic strip, which I think was a good one. They must have paid for it, right? They must have paid for to use Nicola Bryant's likeness. And it was a good idea. So the Kane story, and I like it. It goes back. You see him like go through the fun house. So next is Abel's story, which is another member of their team that's going on the mission. The Warrior story. And now we find out how the Doctor met the Draconian Warrior from about 3 stories earlier. And again, you get to see things from like the Doctor's point of view of how he how he knows this guy's future, and how it's a bit strange. Again, wonderful. Just look at these splash pages. Oh man. It is. I can't believe this used to be disposable, right? They used to be throw this away, and then Frobisher's story, and eventually they go on their big mission, and it works out the way that you would expect it to work out. So I think that's the end of it. And then the next graphic novel is World Shapers. I might do that tomorrow. I've really enjoyed going through this. I've absolutely really really enjoyed going through this. Great book. Absolutely great book. Get it now from Amazon. Get it from Book Depository. Doctor Who comics are over, right? The sad truth is Doctor Who comics are completely over. Doctor Who magazine, Noel and the TARDIS put out a video yesterday saying they're one bad month away from cancellation. I think he's completely correct, right? I think he's absolutely correct. Maybe we should just do this thumbnail view. Let's see what happens when I press that. Go back to there. There you go, back to the front cover. I think he's absolutely correct. They stopped running the comic strip several months ago. They did, was it a 3-part story? Time Lord Victorious wasn't very good. It really wasn't very good. It was the Ninth Doctor and vampire. So you would have thought it'd be great, but it just wasn't. Wasn't that great. And then Scott Gray, who's a pretty good writer, been writing since the 90s and done a lot of good work. He was doing the art on it. Abysmal. He's just not a professional comic book artist. And it really shows. It really, really showed. I would say it's unprintably poor. But Doctor Who comics are over, so there's a lot. There's still a lot, far more than you would expect to read. If you haven't read the stuff, check it out. If you like a bit of Colin Baker, when I say Colin Baker, you like a bit of Colin Baker's Doctor. Colin Baker, I understand on Twitter, bit of a douchebag, but then again, listen. Everybody is. That's what Twitter is. Twitter is the home for douchebags. I'm sorry, Colin Baker chose to join them. But even so, go check out this graphic novel. Absolutely fantastic, wonderful, wonderful bit of Doctor Who. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop.